Okay, get in here. Get in here! We have a leak. An iPhone 16 leak, but I gotta tell you about it before they find me.
Good morning!
Ladies and germs and everybody else, look with your eyes upon the best iPhone leak since forever. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? This is boring and not impressive? Nay, this is going to fix the biggest problem with the iPhone that is not Siri, which is battery life and longevity. Yep, leaked over at Twitter. Yep, that's what I'm calling it. I have a problem letting go. This here is our first look at the early stages of iPhone 16 Pro's new battery. In fact, a prototype, some may say. Shape-wise, it's the exact same as batteries in previous iPhones, but Apple has made a very distinct change this time around. Do you see it? Yep, that is a metal shell, not the, foil covering stuff. Usually, Apple's iPhone batteries have this rinky-dinky foil covering to help with managing heat dispersion around the battery. Obviously, that has been going as well as trying to get GTA 6 made. We saw overheating with the iPhone 15 Pro, battery degradation happening way faster with iPhone 14 Pro, and maybe 15 Pro, too early to tell though. In fact, iPhone's overheating has been one of the biggest complaints Apple gets about their modern phones, alongside that overall battery health. Okay, everybody, take your iPhone, head over into settings, go to the battery yada yada part, find the battery health, and look at your maximum capacity. You see how it's f***ed? Yep. That. Clearly, Apple's way of handling battery longevity in iPhones needs some serious overhauling, and so I think that's what this is. Now, before you all are like, well, the iPhone 16 is so far away from right now, man, I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow. Okay, I hear you. Even though this leak is early and yes, could technically change, the likelihood of this being accurate and shipping is pretty good. Kasutami, the account that leaked this, has a pretty darn good track record. Couple that with the fact that Apple does have battery issues and this is kind of needed. And yeah, it's pretty safe to assume this is what we're gonna get. Moving on to your next question, which is probably, okay, but how to actually make better? Let me tell you how to actually make better. Moving to a metal battery shell would actually help a lot, because when your iPhone battery is overheating or is just super hot, that trickles down and affects so many things. Battery health, capacity, the performance of your phone, your experience while using it, the list goes on. This new metal outer shell and this redesigned connector will help better distribute the heat rather than just concentrating it in one area. Better thermals, better experience, Papa John's. And really, this isn't just saving us, this is also saving Apple some money. Think about how many batteries they have to replace every year because they're built all f***y. Now, this just seems like one of the first changes Apple is making when it comes to batteries in iPhone. I don't know how long this is, how far off we are from this leak, but we're also hearing that at some point Apple is working on their own battery technology overall. It almost feels like Apple has been trying more and more to make a lot of good, safer decisions. Things like fixing bugs, making software more stable, and even recent hardware releases have been more about bringing up the bottom line instead of just full-on innovation. All of these phones are pretty great now, so when it comes to my list of complaints for iPhones, the list is small, but on the top of my small list is battery stuff. So this is what I want. Thank you, Apple. Recently, we even got a report from the old stinky dwarf who lives in the mountains, Mark Gurman, where we learned that Apple is actually delaying Vision Pro. And bam, another surprise, a word from our sponsor. And then after that, I'll talk to you more about stuff when we come back. The holidays are here, which means you're about to get a new iPhone, huh? Well, new iPhones deserve the best cases money can buy, and that's why today's episode is sponsored by one of my favorite accessory brands, ESR. Check out this stash stand case. These things do it all. But Jern, what is doing it all? You can watch, scroll, and have great protection. Oh, and have great MagSafe compatibility. Well, golly gee, that sounds like doing it all to me. The thinner backs on these newer designs allow for faster charging and is part of ESR's patented design with military-grade protection. And like this case from the Cloud series, I'm a sucker for a good silicone case. And I love how sturdy and how useful this stand is. And when you don't want to use it, it looks like a regular case. So get your hands on these cases and these cases on your phone by clicking the link in the description below and search ESR MagSafe on Amazon to find ESR's 20% off sales. And of course, a huge thanks to ESR for sponsoring today's episode of So I know if you're an Apple fan, you've been curious, you've been wondering, you've been waiting for Vision Pro. And Gurman's report from a little earlier in November tells us that Apple is just not ready to get the Vision Pro to us idiots ready to buy it. Oh, you mean when they said it's launching early next year, they actually didn't know when that was? They didn't have a plan? Color me shocked. So even though we might have been expecting this puppy to land in January of 2024, so, next month, things are really starting to look more like March, if Mark is correct. He says that Apple still has lots of distribution plans to make and even final device testing for Vision Pro. Yeah, okay, so blanket statement for Apple here. Apple, Tim, buddy, could you not actually... Like, if you guys are still testing, if you still have to do more testing for this device, don't release it. Don't! What are you doing? You have to test the device. Don't send it to us. Don't just ship it to regular, normal people and be like, hope the testing happens at their house. No! Just wait. I will wait even longer for this to come out, as long as it comes out properly. Most of the time when I talk about Vision Pro, I mention that they really have to stick the landing. The announcement, I feel like they didn't stick the landing during the announcement. So at least for the release, they gotta stick it. And this just doesn't feel like any sticking is gonna happen. A product can only release for the very first time once. That's all I'm saying. You hear me? And not every Apple product can be as perfect and as flawless as my little honey, the iPad mini. Speaking of iPad mini, we literally just got word from ET News within the past couple of weeks that Apple is finally planning a transition to OLED for the little iPad that could. And I want it inside of me. I didn't say that. The report from ET News covers a few iPad models for the next few years, so here are those things. 2024, a new 11-inch and 12.9-inch iPad Pro with OLED and ProMotion displays. 2026, a new iPad mini. 2026? Are you kidding me? In 2026, a new iPad mini with a larger 8.7-inch display. It's getting bigger? Why? Look at it. It's so perfect and beautiful just the way it is. Why would you mess with such a great, beautiful thing? I don't go up to the love of your life and say, oh, she'd be better if she was just a little bigger. Also in 2026, a new 10.9-inch iPad Air with OLED display. 2027, 12.9-inch iPad Air with OLED. Okay, this is just awful. This is terrible news. You're perfect the way you are, iPad mini. I love you very much. Notice how I use this iPad on the show to read the script on and not the iPad mini? Would you like to know why? Because the iPad mini is for fun. Only fun things on the iPad mini. There's no Gmail. There's no work on iPad mini. No, it's only for fun things. Relaxation and fun. That is what iPad mini means to me. You might be wondering why I sound like ass. That is because I have a cold. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to go shove NyQuil into the head of my penis. See you tomorrow.